On today's episode, Jenny and I talk about Irish music, protest songs, and how we can use words and singing to pull together groups of people who unite for a common cause.
Yeah.
What I really love is that Jenny's got a website which is
carboncanaries.com.au.
And if you're at a protest and you think, oh, I just need a song about the reef to sing right now, you can jump onto that website, download the words, and before long, 10,000 of you could be singing the same song. Stay right through to the end. It's fabulous. Jenny even sings for us. Hello and welcome to Stories from the Red Couch. I'm Robin Cook and today my guest is Jenny Fitzgibbon. Hi Jenny.
Hello.
How are you? Good.
Yeah, I'm good.
We've actually known each other for a very, very long time now, and you spent a lot of years singing with my brother Steve.
Yeah,
Didn't
one of
you?
the best Irish musicians in southeast Queensland.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's just amazing.
Yeah, and you're still singing.
And a dote,
Yes.
as they say in Ireland. A dote.
Oh, dote.
A dote. Yeah, that's good.
And you've been singing for such a long time, and you've got some. I love it. I love going to gigs that you're playing at and listening and dancing along and singing along.
Yeah.
In thinking about that Irish heritage and those Irish songs, and what you're doing now with, protesting about Adani and various other activist kind of roles that you're in, what do you think the influence that you have in Irish music brings to the songs you write now for the work that you're doing?
Ooh, well, in Ireland there was a very strong undercurrent, even an overcurrent, of protest music through, we had rebel songs and stuff like that. If we ever brought one of those home, Mum would always go, stop singing that in here, because it was like, they really meant something,
Yes.
My parents left Ireland quite young and went to London where they met and married.
Okay.
And they would go along to the Irish clubs and, that was their entire entertainment, was being there in among the Irish music. But they, because of what they'd come from, they weren't that comfortable with the rebel songs. They would always go, "Oh, we're not going back there, so-and-so will be singing rebel songs." And I could understand it, because in Ireland that meant an affinity with a whole subculture that you might not be entirely comfortable with, much and all as history has shown that without that subculture and without a real strong look at what was going on in Ireland, no justice would ever have been.
No, that's
around.
right.
So,
But
yeah,
it
it's
would
got
have
a
been
strong
dangerous,
history.
though, wouldn't it?
It could well have been dangerous, yeah.
To align yourself with various
Yeah.
songs like that.
So folk music was not in my upbringing at all, except Foster and Allen and all, like that's what I thought.
Isn't that
That's what I
interesting?
thought Irish folk music was,
Wow.
until I went to Darwin and met up with Paul Lawler, Shenda Bridge, Alex Bridge. I don't know if you know those people,
Yeah.
but they just opened my eyes and they go, you can sing, you should be singing Irish music, And I go,
Wow.
well, I don't particularly like it. And they go, here, listen to this and listen to this, and I've put together a compilation for you, So they've just trained me, basically.
Well, that's astonishing. I had no idea that you weren't singing Irish music in the beginning of when you were
Ireland.
singing. Yeah.
No, not really.
That's really
The
fascinating.
odd song,
Yeah.
But
And how did you come to start writing your own songs? How did that start?
I guess that came from wanting to express something, but not being a hugely great musician, really. I took other people's songs and other people's writing, and I love words and I love wordplay and puns. So I would take a song, or a song would enter my mind,
Okay.
but I could see that the song could be adapted for a different meaning. And I go, oh, that'd be funny, and then you just kind of take something that exists and just move it into this other place. I really enjoyed doing that, you know. And the more I'd sort of do it, that would just keep happening.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess that's part of, you know, the eons of songwriting as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Taking one thing and adapting it and turning something else around and giving different inflections and meanings and so forth.
And in Irish music, I found out, like, since really, that the same tune is used for like 20 different songs, you know, so
true.
It's not like they reinvent the wheel with the tune, with the melody of a song, whereas with tunes, they are, you know, they can morph as time goes on, and, you know, the modern folk tradition is usually to play things faster than they might have been played in the past. And, you know, and there's different ornamentations now that are in fashion, but really with melodies for songs, they didn't reinvent things, they just went with an existing melody and wrote. And a lot of the cleverness in Irish songs was in the rhyming, the triplet rhymings that would come in, and I enjoy doing that in my...
Yeah, in your performances.
Yeah. And I've written more songs now since I, you know, started getting better with chords. Like, I've always been hopeless on an instrument, and I have the joy to be surrounded by people who are so amazingly good. Jeremy Dunlop, Steve Cook, you know, Andrew Heath, Fred Graham, and that my whole time in Tullamore that time was just like
Wasn't that special?
Blast. It was so special. It was so special. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you playing? You are playing an instrument now, though? Are you?
Yes, proudly a ukulele.
Such a great instrument, isn't it?
Oh, it's so great.
Yeah.
My instrument just recently went all around Europe and with me, and just, you don't feel this, will I bring the guitar? You know, I used to busk in Dublin with a guitar.
Yes.
Because, you know, it's just a bigger receptacle for people to chuck money at,
in.
which is fantastic. But, you know, you can't lug a big guitar around that much anymore. And then you have to go, right, I'm going busking, and you take the guitar and go.
Yeah.
Whereas with the ukulele, you can just carry it around with you
Put it in
all
your
the
bag.
time.
Stick it in
Play
your
it on the
bag.
bus.
Yeah.
You know?
That's fantastic.
I just love it.
Do you have a lot of influence from that trip that you've done? Like a musical influence? Have you picked up other bits of music in your travels that you're incorporating into your work?
My parents lived in London then for a long time, so, you know, they left us actually. You know the way normally the kids leave home, like when the kids stayed at home and mum and dad left.
I love that.
They decided to stay in London at that time, and we sold the house for them, and blah, all that was done. And then I came to Australia. So every time I go back to visit mum and dad, and have been doing that now since I came 30 years ago.
Wow.
And always chose jobs that allowed me to go home every now and then.
Isn't that
so
good?
When I went home, I would connect with the music. So each time, you know, I mean, my carbon budget, terrible. So yeah, that's just something that happened, you know, over all those years. And I learned more and more about Irish music. So when I went home, I knew what to look for. And that was it. You know, so my friends in Darwin just gave me this wonderful...
That nudge that you needed.
nudge into it. And I'm like, oh...
Thank you.
You know, there was even one time I wanted to write a song about the intense sadness of having lived in a place and not seen it with the eyes of those people who know what is so precious. Like, I liked Ireland, but we grew up in the suburbs. We grew up out of Dublin. It was really when I left, when we sold Mum and Dad's house, and I needed to find somewhere to be in Dublin, and I moved in with this gorgeous guy, more or less just out of Dublin Central. And suddenly the history started to make sense to me, and I started to connect with it just a little bit. But then, you know, 1 year working holiday visa in Australia. Do I go or do I stay?
Oh,
you know,
dear.
You can imagine the SWOT analysis for that. Like, you know, strengths, boom, pages of strengths, weaknesses. It's a long way. Opportunities. Oh, how many things can I write? And threats.
Yes.
Spiders.
Yes.
me sneaks.
Yes, yeah,
Anyway.
plenty of deadly creatures here.
Plenty. No, it was a great decision to come, but you know, it just sort of meant an entire change in my life, and I blossomed in Australia, you know, just emotionally, you know, and of course, oh my God, you don't need to wear many clothes, and it's amazing. And
Go barefoot.
people just are so open and friendly, and you know, why wouldn't they be? It's just an amazing land.
What are your favourite Irish songs? Have you got some?
I do have one that's a lovely conversation between a mum and her daughter about the noise going on in the garden outside, which of course is the boyfriend come to snake her away to court. And, you know, so that's a lovely one because of the sort of innocence of the exchange.
Yes.
You know? And the factual reality of it.
Oh, yes, yeah. Well,
days,
it does
you know.
happen, yes.
Yeah. Another one, Wheels of the World, that's about the, you know, the sort of oppression that the Irish experienced. There's so many. There's so many. And for different things, you know.
What have you been writing for the work that you've been doing for the Adani protests?
Oh. Lots. So I myself and another fellow called Paul Spencer started a website. It's a song resource called carboncanaries.com.au. And at first it was going to be a series of choirs around the place. At one point there was one in Melbourne, one in Sydney, one here in Mullaney. And it was going to be that we were canaries singing about wanting action on climate change and wanting renewables and solar and all those things. So there's 35 songs that are all parodies on that site that are ready for people. You know, if you're at a, you know, Solar Now kind of rally or Save the Reef rally, each of the songs that are on there are tagged for the different things that they address.
Yeah.
You know, so there's Adani, there's 8 songs that have Adani mentioned in them. You know, Adani's just a small part of the whole thing of addressing climate change in this country of ours, you know, so Adani's in there. There's coal seam gas, solar, renewables are all about, you know, so there's funny stuff, there's stuff you can dance to, there's some sad songs, you know.
So what do you think the power is in giving people songs to use at moments like that?
Oh, there's nothing like, one of my favourite times was I went down to a Save the Reef rally in Maroochydore, and there were all these disparate people, you know, and they had great banners, and, you know, people could talk about the banners, and people gathered around in different little groups like this. And then at one point we all gathered, and it was just before Christmas, and I just quickly wrote, you know, all I want for Christmas is a healthy reef, and a couple of other words, and, you know, 2 verses or whatever, and said, how do people feel about singing this? Well,
They must
a
have
bit
loved
of
it.
dance together, a bit of singing together, and suddenly everyone felt more like a group, I think, you know, and that's how it felt after that particular thing. And I thought, you know, this works. It can be really good fun.
Yeah. So have you written all of the songs? So the songs that are on Climate Canaries,
Carbon Canaries, yeah.
Carbon
That's right.
Canaries, are they all your songs?
No, there's ones there by Paul Spencer, who's this wonderful singer-songwriter in Sydney, now living in Wollongong. And there's some songs by a lovely fella from Brisbane called Dermot Dorgan. You know, just if it is a parody and the science is accurate, I always make sure the science is accurate, except one of my favourite songs, which has been pointed out to me, it's not scientifically accurate, but I go, I don't care, it's too funny. And it's that's the one that goes, a mine on the land would be quite detrimental, 'cause carbon is the world's worst friend. Whereas if it was carbon's in everything, it's not the world's worst friend.
Yeah,
it's very, you know, it's very
that's true.
useful and stuff like that. But anyway, I thought that was, I just love that. And mine may be planned, but it will drive you mental, get you quite irate. So quick, mate, lock the gate. Science has learned if that coal gets burned, that we'll all lose our charms in the end. No forests for the clearing when solar's so endearing, and carbon is the world's worst friend. Anyway, it just follows the existing song.
Isn't that
because
fabulous?
I was going to do this thing of having guerrilla karaoke. Like, you know, the way you have guerrilla artists will go out and, you know, do stuff on billboards or whatever. You know, I thought, oh, karaoke. We can send out all these people all over the country and just say, oh, I'd like to do Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, but just don't follow the ball. Just sing your own words.
Oh,
you know?
I love that.
Yes.
And there's karaoke bars everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. How fabulous.
Yeah. And I did it actually, I did it here one time, but one time, just recently I did it in Scotland, and that was just fantastic fun.
Yeah. They
have the similar problems the world over.
Well, we do, don't we?
Yeah.
So what are your plans for the next, the next few months? And you've got some gigs around, or?
Well, I had been looking forward to saying we had a gig at the street party in Mullaney, but due to the weather, it's been cancelled.
Yeah.
You know, so myself and Jeremy are working again together, doing a duo. So
you've got a CD here
we
too,
do.
haven't you?
Yeah.
Let's have a
We
look
did
at
that a few years ago now, and your brother's on it as well.
I know. There's my brother, Steve Cook.
Steve Cook.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fabulous. So have you got?
That's great.
You've
Mostly
done a few
Irish.
CDs, haven't you?
Done a few. Yeah. I did a solo one, but that's well out of print now. I did 2 Tulkamore ones with those lovely lads. So, and Claire Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
No, it was really a great time doing that. I feel very privileged to have been in that. And I am planning doing a recording of all of the, well, not all, but some of the Carbon Canary songs and that.
Oh, good.
For use at actions, or if people are having Christmas parties, they can just play it in the background, if you like, Or not so much Christmas parties maybe, but private action parties, who knows.
Yeah. Would you expect any radio airplay?
Or, I don't know, except in the context of an interview, probably not. Really. Yeah, because parodies, you are allowed to use an existing tune if the intended outcome is kind of humour or satire.
Oh, okay.
And definitely they do edge on that a little bit, the songs that are on there.
For sure.
I
didn't realise that was the way that you could do, because my grandfather was a comedian.
Ah, right,
and a singer and a parody writer, and he wrote parodies all the time.
Yeah.
He was hilarious. And so
do you remember one?
Well, he did one of the ABC of love. So A, you're adorable. B, you're so beautiful.
Yeah.
And so my mother was in the audience because she was the stooge, and just a young woman. She must have been about 19 or 20 at the time. So Mum's in the audience and Papa's up on the stage, and he's and I'm going to sing a little song, but I'm going to do a magic trick, and I'm going to hypnotise someone from the audience. So you, young lady, you can come up. So Mum goes up and he pretends to hypnotise her, and so they do the ABC of love, but of course it becomes, A, you're argumentative, B, you're a bugger, C, you're a, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And away they went. So he was doing that all the time. It was very funny. And as kids, we knew all his material.
Right, yeah.
Because we listened to it all the time.
Oh, God, that sounds great. Oh, it's Uncle, come over. Excellent.
So funny. Yeah, so I didn't realise that with parodies. So, you can use existing music, but the intent has to be
comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there's a whole other thing about making money out of it. So that's another thing. So you can...
Oh, you can't.
You can perform it.
Yes.
Because it's comedy and, it's difficult. Yeah. I mean, nowadays, who knows? My information on that's 10 years old, and it could well be that... and so you're not allowed to record it in order to make money.
Okay.
And certainly any of the writing is always any of the credits or whatever is always to the original writers of the music and the words, and they get any royalties or anything like that if you're ever doing it. I mean, I think you have to get an artist's express permission to just change a couple of words in a song, but if you're literally taking something
the whole thing and changing
then
it.
kind of the fact that they've made it so famous and so brilliant, you kind of can use that to mean something else, you know, and people get it, you know, and they smile because they recognise the song.
That's
and it's
right.
just great.
And it's much easier to remember the words.
Oh, this is it.
Isn't that fabulous? Because you're not trying to remember the music at the same time.
Although sometimes the original words come in. I've got one that goes, baby face, you got the cutest little baby face, but then it changes. It goes, baby face, you got the trusting little baby face. That's why I swear I will protect this place for you, my baby face. Gonna stop that carbon pumping. I swear I will do something, baby face. I will not stop until fossil fuels in disgrace. This earth is your bequest, so I will do my best for you, my trusting baby face. And sometimes, because it's kind of a bit similar to the original, I get it wrong. The original comes in, so yeah, it's not that hard. But why myself and Paul did it that way was that we wanted that people would be at an action, need to maybe help everyone feel in a better mood or whatever. Get out your smartphone, go to carboncanaries.com.au, all the lyrics are there, the tunes are there where needs be, you know. You can be an instant choir by however many people have them on their phones.
That's incredible. What a great idea.
There's song books for download, and there's all sorts of things. Currently, the newest thing on there is carols against coal. And none of that was our work. That's all from the various all over the place. So the Melbourne Climate Choir contributed quite a few of the material in volume 2 of the carols against coal. So, you know, it's out there. People are out there singing carols against coal, just impromptu, having fun in supermarkets. And we went down to Marucci shopping centre the other day and sang a bit, you know. And the security guy was so angry because I told him that Adani's getting 12 billion litres of water out of one river system until 2077. He goes, what? You know, so they were very nice to us. But
That's
I think
wonderful.
he might well join stopadani.com.
That's
Little
fantastic.
darling, they were so nice. They were
Yeah.
lovely. Oh, you can't actually sing here. We said, we know. Thanks for leaving us for a while.
Just a couple of tunes and we'll be on our way.
Yeah. And then we went round to Ted O'Brien's office, who's the guy for Fairfax.
Oh, yes, I know Ted. Yes.
Anyway.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Thank you on behalf of us who don't get along to all of the, all of the actions that go on about that.
Yeah, well, most of it, I suppose, is hearing about them, you know, and I still find email the best, don't you, for knowing something's on?
I think so.
I think you can miss events on Facebook and stuff, you know. So that's what we try to do. We keep a MailChimp for Stop Adani Sunshine Coast and Stop Adani Mullaney, and, you know, it's good. And Stop Adani is just one thing. There's lots of really positive climate stuff out there. Like today, all these young people who I think might be from the Australian Youth Climate Coalition, the main driver behind the school strike. Anyway, they were out in Mullaney today selling stuff to raise money for the cause of stopping Adani, basically, you know.
Oh, fabulous.
So
Good
it was
on
just
them.
great. And I just walk along the street and go, hey,
Look at that.
fabulous.
Isn't that wonderful?
It is wonderful. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for joining me.
It has not been 20 minutes.
It has been.
Oh,
It's
my
been
God.
more. I know. It's incredible, isn't it? That's what
Oh,
a couple
look.
of songs and a bit of a chat does.
Oh, well, there you go. And such a delightful style. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching us. We will be back next week with another guest. We'll see you then. Thank you.